Welcome to QWERTY Writing Life podcast, where we have candid chats about our creative lives. This is May.
And I'm Joy.
For more information about our podcast, monthly newsletter, or author resource series, visit us at QWERTYWritingLife.com. That's QWERTY, spelled QWERTY.
It's the first 6 letters on your keyboard.
So, are you ready? Grab your tea.
Or your coffee, and let's chat.
Hello, everyone. It's another week.
Hello and welcome.
Tonight, we are going to recap our season 3 and tell you about the QWERTY future. But before we do that, let's talk about our creative weeks. Joy, what did you do?
Well, if you happen to be listening to this episode as soon as it comes out, I am loving life at a campground in our new to us tiny camper. And also making final revisions to One Good Thing. So this puppy is about to be in editing stage instead of revising stage because I feel like it's been in revisions for like ever. Can I just say that that's how it feels?
Yeah, but things happened and, kind of broke the whole rhythm of the bookmaking cycle. And now you're back in it. So I'm all ready for it.
Yay. So what about you? How is your creative week going?
Well, I have been doing a little bit of the same. I know that's not very fun to hear, but I've just been developing products and flyers and things like that for work, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done before I have to take a leave of absence for a bit. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But the funny thing is that all of the projects that I'm working on are very creative projects. So I'm having to envision what the 32-page view book is going to look like that's going to represent the university and all of the 3 locations for it, and trying to be able to give a really good, all-encompassing view of college life for incoming students. So being able to do that and then try to envision, we hired a photographer this year, and so I had to make a shot list and pick out people to get headshots from and all of this stuff, and it just it is a very creative thing. It's very much like putting together a book in some ways. Of course, we don't have all of the text and everything that we're doing, but we are telling a story through pictures and choices that we make. Like we're making these decisions and those decisions end up telling the story that we're hoping to share. So trying to get that translation from here onto paper has been, I guess, a creative process this week.
Yay, I love that. It's so exciting, and I love to hear your enthusiasm for it. And when the leader has that kind of enthusiasm, it comes through in the staff and in the products, like the view books. So, yay. And then that trickles to the students and prospective students. So it's exciting.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's my first overhaul, like paper promotional item overhaul in this position. So it's a little bit daunting, but at the same time, I'm thinking about all of the different ways that we can impact people through these pieces and make sure that our content is relevant and important and not just like fluff stuff that gets into people's mailboxes and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about doing all of the things. So that's where I am, and I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying your camper. I love that.
It's so adorable.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to have little writing retreats in it. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly.
I'm just inviting myself along in your camper, by the way.
Oh, girl, I've already planned that.
Don't mind me. So this is good. Well, let's take a little walk down memory lane, shall we?
Feeling nostalgic.
I am. This has been a really interesting season because we changed the whole structure of how we were going to do things from we did season 1 and season 2 the same. And then season 3, we were like, let's try something a little bit different. And we're trying to decide if it worked or not.
I think it did. I think it did.
But before we get too big into the evaluation, we're going to share with you our favorite episodes and let you behind the curtain to see which were your favorites as well. And get ready for a shocker because we have a new most downloaded episode of all time over the last 3 seasons.
Wow. That's so exciting.
I know. I love it. It's nice to shake us up a little bit. So last week we chatted about our hopes and goals and concerns and ideas for season 4. Like that was what our planning session was for last Thursday. And in this episode, we're going to reveal to you everything that we decided. And the winds of change are coming, QWERTYs. Because we really, really hope that you'll be on board. So keep listening to find out, and then stick around for a special challenge at the end.
Ooh, we like special challenges.
So first up is our favorite episodes of season 3. So since I'm talking, I'll go ahead and tell you mine.
That works.
So my favorite episode for season 3 was episode 20, and that one was the one about creative trust and trusting yourself in creative endeavors. And I think what I loved about this episode is that it's pretty foundational. It's not just about your creative life. It can also be about like your whole life. So when we talk about developing a trust relationship with ourselves and how we can do that in the episode, we also talk about like the practice of showing up for ourselves. And that can be more than just creative, because if you're like me, chances are, if you're having issues trusting yourself in your creative endeavors, you're probably having some trouble trusting yourself in other areas as well.
Yeah.
Or is that just me? I don't know.
I don't think you're alone.
Well, for me, episode 20 felt like therapy, so it's very, very high on my list.
Yeah, that was definitely a good one. I love that. And I love how you said that it was so foundational, such a foundational thing. I think you're right.
Yeah.
So my favorite was episode 15, A Creative Approach to Beginnings. And y'all know I'm a huge goals person, right? So this episode was kind of a big deal for me. And I love that we went against the typical when we thought about how the past few years have been less than positive in many ways. That's kind of how we were kind of looking back, and we were thinking about the things that we'd been through and all of that. And so our natural, well, let me just say it this way. My natural tendency is to either wallow in the negative or to fling it behind me and run as fast as I can in the opposite direction. Yeah.
That's also me. I'm both of those things.
So that's why I love this episode so much, because we intentionally said that's not what we're going to do. What we did in that episode was we picked up the negative, we examined it, and we learned from it before we marched forward. Okay, so we didn't stay there with it, but we knew that it's valuable, right? The negative is valuable, and there are things that we can get from that. So that approach that we took just makes me happy, and I just really loved that episode.
And that's another one that I think is not just for your creative life. I think it's also for all the other aspects of your life.
Exactly.
So, look at that. We match.
Twinsies. Oh. All right, so now it's time for your favorite episodes. And we actually, and this was really funny, guys, because earlier this afternoon when I was writing this list of the top episodes according to how many you guys have downloaded, we were super, super close to hitting 12,000 downloads. I pulled it up again tonight, right before we started recording this, and we hit 12,000 downloads. So thank you guys. That is 12,000 all-time downloads over our 3 seasons, and I feel like that's amazing. So thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing us into your lives. We would love to know, like, what do you do when you listen to our podcast? You know, do you fold laundry, or do you, like my friend feeds her baby possums that she's rescued? Like, what do you do when you listen to our show? But whatever you do, thank you for just bringing us into your lives.
Yeah, the creative space is really vulnerable, and you've let us in there. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for trusting us.
Definitely. All right, so we were going to do the top 5, but I kind of tossed in a couple of extras there because they go together. You're going to see why. So the 7th, 6th, and 5th most downloaded episodes were all the Creative Hacks episodes. So Creative Hacks Efficiency for Time was 7th. Creative Hacks Efficiency for Outlying Factors was 6th. 5th was Creative Hacks Efficiency for Craft. So you guys seem to kind of like our creative hacks.
We like them too.
Yes, we do. So then number 4 on the list was Realistic Creatives, How to Be One. And technically it kind of tied with Productivity and Efficiency for Creatives. So those actually kind of tied. I guess that would technically be tied for 3rd, I guess, if I'm looking at this list right.
Yeah. And I love that one is one of the ones before the creative hacks because the definition of efficiency is in there. We talked about our QWERTY definition for efficiency and for productivity and how we see things a little bit differently than maybe the rest of the world.
Yeah. Not just in that.
Yeah. But I feel like that was like the episode that you needed to hear before you really got into the creative hacks. So kudos to everyone who downloaded that one and listened to it before you dove into the creative hacks. They're all wonderful. They're really good episodes.
Yeah. We're proud little mamas.
Yeah, you chose well.
Oh, goodness. So then that brings us to the second most downloaded, and that was Realistic Creatives, Who They Are. So that's another one of our realistic creatives, and you seem to like Who They Are a little better than How to Be One. Not by much, though, like by like 1 download. So, and then that brings us to number 1. And guys, this kind of surprised me because this particular episode knocked out our interview with Joanna Penn as the top most downloaded episode of all seasons. So, yeah.
Blew my mind.
Exactly. So,
because she's like a celebrity, y'all.
She is fantastic and just so sweet.
In our world, like she's top notch, like fangirl celebrity kind of stuff. So when that one got knocked out with like us, it felt kind of like, I don't know, parallel universe situation. But here we are, the numbers don't lie.
That is true.
But also listen to the Joanna Penn episode,
yes,
because she brings out some truth in that episode about creativity and writing, both, but also just like universal truths about creativity. I love her so much.
Yes, super practical and just so down to earth. So it's probably still our favorite episode, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, well, I won't put your name in it too. But.
No, you totally can. That was a sarcastic maybe. Like, I can't believe you had to ask me that question. Maybe. So.
Oh my goodness, we're such nerds. It's great.
We are total.
All right. So number 1 most downloaded. QWERTY Workshop, Starting a Story Together. So thank you guys. I'm a little surprised, honestly. Like, whenever we do like a workshop type thing, we're never really sure if it's something that you guys will enjoy or not. And presenting it like a workshop on a podcast, especially if you're not watching the video, you know, how is that going to translate? Will people enjoy it? Will it, you know, just be super mind-numbingly boring? Or, you know, but we had a lot of fun recording it, so yay. Yes,
I had a lot of fun prepping for that one too. That was a really, really fun thing. And I love being able to like, I think if you listen to the last episode, I really love like flipping that script, and that's what we did in that episode too, with the starting a story together. We kind of flipped the script, and we took the same story idea and then put it into different genres, and oh wow, how interesting it is to see that story idea flip from one genre to another. It's like it's the same idea, but somehow different aspects of that idea gets pulled out, and depending upon the genre that you're in. It was so much fun. I had a blast.
Yes, me too, for sure. It was great. So we're glad that you guys enjoyed it too, it seems. So, yay! So now I think it's time for us to kind of share some of our plans for the future.
Yes. So we looked back at season 1 and season 2, and of course, these stats too for season 3. And it seems that you guys really, really like the practical. And funny enough, so do we. So we're going to be doing a lot of practical things in season 4. And the first thing that you need to know is that of these 3 years, we have never, ever, ever taken a break. And so for 3 years straight, we have been providing what we have promised you for 3 whole years. And this summer, we have decided to take a break, but it's not because we're going to go like gallivant around the world and like fulfill all of our long lost dreams. No, it is actually going to be, I know, right? That sounds a lot better than what I'm fixing to say. It's going to be like anticlimactic now. But what we're going to do is we're going to start like prepping for season 4 because it's going to be such a big season. We are going to stick with the structure that we've had for season 3. And the reason we're going to do that is because the times that we do not record when we meet, we will actually be working on a project and bring you the practical aspects of working on a creative project to the next episode that you listen to. What do you think?
Yep. And we would love to hear, what your thoughts are on this, if you're excited about it, all of that. So like May said, it doesn't mean that we're not going to be working in June and July. So we're just taking off June and July, and then the new episodes will begin again in August. So during those 2 months, we will be still in your newsletter. So if you subscribe to our newsletter, if you don't, you should. Okay, we're going to be there once a month, so you'll get one in June and one in July. And we're hoping to put a few little extra goodies in there for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Plus our social media, which has kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit the last few months. I take complete everything for that because
you can't take complete. Hold on, time out. You cannot take complete everything for that. There are 2 of us, and we are the QWERTYs, so there's no such thing as 100% ownership for one aspect or one part of the QWERTYs. So just
fine.
Anyway. I have failed too. Is my point.
Anyway, we're coming back to you on social media, and we have a few ideas of ways to be a little bit more interactive and have a few little extra fun things there during those months, especially.
I really think about those.
Yeah, I think it's pretty.
I like it. It feels good. That feels good.
Yeah, for sure. So, and like May said, of course, prepping for that season 4 because it will be much bigger. So. So one of the things for this season, as you guys know and we mentioned earlier, we switched from weekly to a semi-monthly, and part of the reason for doing that was so that we could work on some of those QWERTY projects. And it was a great plan, and I think that it was a great decision. I think that it was the right decision for us in a number of ways, and I think you guys might have liked that as well. It seems like maybe only having 2 episodes to listen to a month versus 4 or 5. Maybe that's a little bit easier. Just kind of reading between the lines there for you guys. But despite changing our time frame, we didn't always get to use that extra time to work on our QWERTY projects. Priorities shift, things happen, seasons of life change on us. So we didn't get to use that time like we thought we would. So we still didn't really complete any of our QWERTY projects, and now we're going to bring you guys into the process because both May and I really, really feel strongly about these projects that we've had in our hearts and in our minds for years now, and we really want to make some of those things happen. So we're going to be actively working on QWERTY projects and then we're going to record each major step along the way so that you can see, or at least hear, how we work and the lessons that we learn along the way. So,
yeah. So some of those might be actual workshop recordings, like the one that was number one.
the starting a story together.
Yeah, like the starting the story together. So some of them might be like that, but also some of them might be like reflections on a work session. We will still be bringing some universal creative truths to the forefront, and then some of them might actually be some specific to the writing medium. So we'll let you know too. We won't leave you hanging there. So if you're not a writer, we will put in the title somewhere that this is a writing episode, and you can go, find a new album on Spotify or something. So.
Or you might surprise us and listen in and be like, hey, I listened and here is what I took from that I could implement into my medium too.
Yes, that piques my curiosity. So yes, please do that. And also, I probably should not be telling people not to listen to our podcast. So bad podcast host. So.
No, you didn't tell them not to listen. You said find a new album of music to listen to, which is a great thing.
Yes, but the assumption was that you would not be listening to that episode.
I was trying to make it sound better.
Okay, well, I do appreciate that, but you can't let me off the hook on everything.
Oh my goodness. Well, something that we did talk about in our planning session last week was we really kind of ironed out the first few episodes. So we wanted to share what our plans are for those first 2 episodes with you guys, and we'd love to hear what you think about it. And this is the plan. And you know things go sideways. So don't hold us in stone to this, but this really is our plan.
I really do hope that this is a bit of stone, to be honest with you, because I think that this would be truly interesting. If I found a podcast that had this bit of structure to it for a season, I would totally be like, ooh, what happens next? So, but I love this too, because we'll start from the very beginning. Like we'll start from inception for a project.
Yeah. And that's the first episode.
So, yes.
Yeah, that will be choosing our initial project. So yes, we have a list because we've had a list for years, but we actually actively stopped ourselves from starting to talk about which one we might go with first, because which
was really hard.
It really was. I'm not gonna lie. So this first episode, we will choose the initial project. You'll get to see how we evaluate possible goals to determine which one's the right one for us right now. And so we'll be doing that together. We might record our actual planning sessions. We talked about that too. Maybe we'll record that, maybe not. Our plan, though, is that the episode will come after. Like, it will be us looking back and saying, okay, here's what we did. Here's what we came up with, here's our plan, and this is going to be the next step, which would then lead to the next episode.
Yes. And I think we picked out, like, the next episode, too. So the first one will be, like, the inception of the idea, and then the second episode will be the visualization of the project, and we'll begin the prep work to make that project happen. Whatever project it is, because we don't know just yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll be adding logic to our vision as well. Hopefully by the end of that one, we will probably have an initial draft of like the steps that will need to be put in place in order to work on the project.
Yeah, exactly. And just so you guys know, we have talked about, obviously we have some writing projects that we want to do together. We've talked about an audiobook, we've talked about smaller booklets, we've also talked about things more business related. So I know we've talked about, having some sort of a little QWERTY swag kind of shop thing. So that's
I'm
also
pushing
on
hard
the
for
list.
that one. I know that's a really selfish thing because I just really want a QWERTY t-shirt and mug.
I know, right? So it won't all be books. Like, just to let you guys know, like, the things that are on our list, they're not all just writing. They're not all, whatever. And I feel like that's pretty representative of any creative medium. Like if you are in the creative world, you don't always just work on your art. There are other aspects around it that are projects that you want to spend some time on, or need to spend some time on. So there you go. There's a little sneak peek behind the curtain of what's coming and what our plans are.
Yeah. I guess that's really all to say about that particular thing. Whew, I feel really special. Like having to have a hiatus. I don't know.
Ooh, would it
Doesn't
be a
it feel a little?
hiatus or a sabbatical? Like, and what's the
Ooh,
difference?
that one I would have to Google or
I
look in a
know.
dictionary. So, and my
Aw.
phone is plugged up in the charging station, so I actually don't have it here.
Oh, that's sad. Now I really want to look this up.
Okay,
Okay,
go.
that's my rabbit trail. All right,
Okay.
back. So we hope this sounds like something that you'll enjoy. Either way, though, please drop us a line, let us know. Share your favorite episode with us as well. I'd like to know if yours was on this list or not. And you can email us anytime, QWERTYWritingLife@gmail.com. That's always down in our show notes as well, so you can always find us. And now it is time for a QWERTY challenge. And this week is a little bit different because we are giving you options. Don't you just love options?
It depends on how many there are.
Okay, well, hopefully these won't be overwhelming. Hopefully they'll just be fun, okay?
I just wanted to be honest and candid.
I mean, yeah, there are times when it's like so overwhelming, too many options.
Yeah, it's
Unless
like
we're
the
talking
cereal
about like
aisle.
pizza toppings, like just load it up, man.
Oh yeah, that's not the same.
Yeah. Okay, but this is not, your options are not pizza toppings. Your options are, we challenge you to either, one, subscribe to our monthly newsletter. You can do that right on the bottom of our homepage, which is QWERTYWritingLife.com, or you can click the link in the show notes. It'll be down there, clear for you to find. One little note, and this is something that I've learned recently, you have to make sure that you click the little opt-in to receive news and updates. There's like a little box, a little check box. So like you put in your email address and then there's a little box. You have to click that. Otherwise, you won't actually be subscribed. So it's one of these fancy dancy little things that is a safety thing for people subscribing to emails to make sure that they really want to sign up. But unfortunately, a lot of people just don't see the little box. So make sure you click the little box after you put in your email address. All right, so that's the first one. The second one is follow us on Facebook. We're at QWERTY Writing Life. Or 3, follow us on Instagram at QWERTY Writing Life. 4, leave us a kind review or a comment wherever you happen to listen or watch. We would love to see those. They would just make our hiatus so much more enjoyable. And then number 5, share QWERTY Writing Life with all your creative friends. If you enjoy it and you have a friend you think would enjoy it too, let them know. And then finally, number 6, this really isn't a totally other option. It's just do all of these things or some combination of them. You don't have to pick just one.
It's like multiple choice, all of the above.
Yes, exactly. Like how many people, was that the one that you always went to when you just really didn't know?
It's like, where's the all of the above button? I always went for C. Or if it was an English question, I would always look for the shortest answer.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good trick.
It is a good trick because they like concise.
Very smart. So see, any English majors out there who are listening, there you go.
High schoolers about to take the SAT or the ACT, there's your little trick right there.
There you go. I'm going to have to share that one with mine. She's going to be doing ACT before long.
That's true. Yeah, so you want to like narrow it down, but if you've narrowed it down to like 2 or 3 and you don't know which one is right, pick the shortest one.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Look at us, practical all the way to the end.
Yes, I love it. I want to add one. Could I add one?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. If there is an episode topic or something that you would like us to cover or address, we are not opposed to having like in between episodes where we can address some listener questions or concerns about creativity, writing, other mediums, because Joy does other things and I do other things. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yay. Well, we hope you guys have a fantastic week, and we hope to see you around in newsletters and social media over the next couple of months, and we promise we will be back. Look for us in August with brand new episodes, but until then, we're not going anywhere. We're right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, go make something.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this episode encouraged you. Like all creatives, we thrive on consumer recommendations. So, please consider leaving us a review and sharing our podcast with your creative friends.
If you'd like to continue this conversation, visit us on our website at QWERTYWritingLife.com or on Instagram at QWERTY Writing Life.